There we go. We're going live now. Fabulous. So hi there, everybody in the Now group. So here we are on 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. It's been a beautiful day here in the Scottish borders. Helen, what has it been like down in your part of the world?
Oh, Kent's absolutely gorgeous today, and I'm hoping to get out for a sunset walk after this.
Yes, yeah, and that's what's so fabulous, isn't it, about these lovely long days now?
Yeah.
So here we are again, and I am on my 67th Facebook Live of 100 days. So I'm way past the halfway mark, and I'm just heading towards the end. But it's all such great fun. And what is it about? Well, it is about you, the members of Now, where you can come and sit here with me in a Facebook Live. And if you've never done a Facebook Live before, that's okay, because you're not on your own. And it's a fabulous, fabulous way for the members of Now to be able to get to know you, to get to know your business, and for you yourself to gain a little bit of confidence maybe in being on a Facebook Live or any social media live. So today, as Helen said, we are off to Kent. So Helen, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, so I'm Helen Hardware. Thank you for the introduction, Lindsay. I'm a Rapid Transformational Therapist. So I'll give you a bit of background about Rapid Transformational Therapy, or RTT, because people may not have heard of it. It's still relatively new, but it's a progressive new form of therapy that helps people get to the root cause of an issue. So it's about unpicking their subconscious beliefs and understanding how they developed an issue in the first place, and then retraining the mind to focus on what it is that they want to get out of life and let go of whatever's holding them back.
All right, okay. It is a combination, just in a nutshell. I mean, it's RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy. So in a nutshell, what is it?
So it's a combination of hypnotherapy with the best of NLP, CBT, neuropsychology, and it's a number of different tools that we bring together and we use in a hypnotic state.
Right, okay, so that's quite a mouthful. So everybody knows what hypnotherapy is. Quickly, what is NLP?
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Right, so all of it, everything that you mentioned there is all in connection with the mind, isn't it? And bringing that together under a state of trance, am I right? How would that came to you? What would happen?
So it's broken down into a number of stages. So people freak out a little bit sometimes at the idea of hypnosis. And quite often the benchmark that people use is stage hypnosis. Maybe they've seen Paul McKenna or something like that on TV. It's actually nothing like that. So what happens when we go into hypnosis is we change our brainwave. So it's just like the state that we're in just before we fall asleep. So it's called an alpha brainwave. And day to day, we're in a beta brainwave. And that's the kind of function that we're in right now. But just before we go to bed at night, tonight, we will be in an alpha brainwave. So that's all hypnosis is. And when we're in that brain state, we're able then to open a trapdoor to the subconscious mind, and we're able to find things that have been stored in our subconscious mind for many years that we didn't know were there, and we didn't know were holding us back. So we're able to uncover limiting beliefs, and then when we can identify them, we can release them. And then we release them, we leave a gap, and we fill that with new empowering beliefs.
Right, that's the NLP part of it as well.
It is. It kind of covers both that, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the introduction, I got it wrong that you had carried out 2 Ironman Triathlons after you discovered RTT, but that's not true, because as you told me, you did that before, and that in combination with work and everything else, you burnt out. Am I right?
Completely. Yeah. I got up one day and it was like I'd never been to bed in my life. And having been somebody who was probably an alpha she-male, I was used to being very fueled by adrenaline. I would train 18 hours a week. I had a commute of nearly 2 hours each way. I had a full-time job. I was very driven, very focused. And I got to the point where I literally just couldn't get out of bed. And on a good day, I got from the bed to the sofa.
Wow. And how long was that for?
Several months. The absolutely, completely debilitating, barely being able to move was about, it's just over a month, I think. And I know a lot of people suffer for a lot longer, but I was already very passionate about mindset. And I came to the conclusion that there was only one person that was going to get me better, and that was me. So I had to do everything that I could. My GP, to be honest, gave me a leaflet, patted me on the head and said, well, there's not a lot I can do, off you go. And I realized that that wasn't acceptable for me. I didn't want to be a victim to it. I needed to get my life back. And it wasn't overnight. It was a long, slow journey. And I made some progress, but I still had crippling fatigue, absolute, utter exhaustion on a day-to-day basis. I changed my job so that I only worked 3.5 days a week, and I reduced the amount I was commuting. So I couldn't exercise. I had 2 years of not doing any exercise at all. So from somebody whose idea of a short bike ride was going out for 80 miles to be literally, doing nothing, I lost my sense of identity. I didn't know who I was. I'd given myself those labels, and it took me a long time to try and work out who I was. And during that during that time, I started to realize that I was enough. And I've been using a number of things, sport and work and study, to try and validate who I was. But on that journey, I realized that I was enough just as I was. And I didn't need all that to motivate me. And that's how I came to Rapid Transformational Therapy. Because Marissa Peer, who has created Rapid Transformational Therapy, says that everything in life boils down to whether or not we feel that we're enough. And that just really resonated with me. I really understood that. So when I trained as a Rapid Transformational Therapist, it was actually in a Rapid Transformational Therapy session where we looked at the fatigue that I was experiencing. And in that moment, I understood what that fatigue was actually doing for me. It was serving me a purpose in my mind. And in a heartbeat, I was able to let it go. And I've never had it back. And that's coming up for a year ago.
Amazing. Simply because these, things that happen to our body, it is our body's talking to us, speaking to us. And you found a way where you could understand what your body was saying to it, and probably your body was saying, oh, thank God, she's got it.
Well, it was a bit more than that, actually. What the biggest piece of information, I already knew that my body was probably saying, thank God, let's have a rest. And I already knew that there was a lot of anxiety around fear of failure. I had huge imposter syndrome for many years. I actually used to be a solicitor, and I quit after just over a year because of imposter syndrome. Oh, wow. And so I'd had all those low-level anxieties my whole life. But the little piece of the jigsaw that I didn't realize was a fear of letting down my boss. My boss had been a friend for a number of years. She'd given me that job. And that was the final part when I realized that I was really worried about letting her down and failing. And as soon as my logical mind could say, well, I don't need that belief anymore, and I let it go, literally, bam, it was there and then. The fatigue was gone.
Amazing, amazing. So if someone is suffering today at this exact moment with, with any ailment, or with the confidence of not being able to do whatever it is that they want to do, what could they do?
So I think, first of all, it's that recognition that the only person that can do something about it is you. You actually have all the power in the universe to change your life, but it's about getting your mindset into that view and then being able to find the steps that you need to take. So obviously I would recommend Rapid Transformational Therapy for a wide range of issues. I generally find that most of my clients are for confidence. It's just somehow that's the way that it seems to work out. And the root cause of confidence issues is around not being enough. Okay.
So if I take me, for example, and I need to go and do something, I can't think of anything straight off my head. Maybe I need to go and say something to my neighbour. And I haven't got the confidence to do that, so like this precise moment. What could I do? What's the first thing that I could do?
So I think it's about recognizing what you can do and thinking about why you can't do it. What is the fear? Because what's stopping you is not actually going and doing it. It's the fear of what might happen. So I think it's about recognizing, first of all, what those fears are. Is it a fear that they're going to judge you? Is it a fear that they're going to be difficult with you? Is it a fear that the words aren't going to come out? And then once you understand what the actual fear is, reframe it. So everything that we do is based on the self-talk that we give ourselves and the pictures we create in our mind. So what I often encourage my clients to do is to write down what those beliefs are that they can't do, cross them out, and then rewrite them and reframe them in a positive way. So it might be that I feel like I can't talk to my neighbour. Well, what's the underlying belief? Well, the underlying belief is that they might not like me. Well, actually, I can cross that out and put next to it, I'm safe in who I am and people like me. And also asking people, you know, what is it that matters to them about their neighbour liking them? And getting people to see that we have a choice. Everything we do is a choice.
I love that. I really, really do love that, because it is putting the power back in our hands.
Yeah.
Yes. And to, as you say, reframe it is, you know, using the mind, using our imagination to be able to change the picture. Yes. Literally. And I know, and I've said this before, you know, as many people say, but I can't imagine. I don't know how to imagine. I don't know how to visualize.
Well, I've got an answer for that one. Cool. So what I say to people who tell me that they can't visualize, because there's only about 3% of the population that actually physically can't, is, do you ever imagine the worst case scenario? And more often than not, people will say yes, in which case you can visualize, you can imagine. It's not necessarily about seeing a picture in your mind. And some people do, not everyone does, but you can still imagine.
Yes, and you can feel it as well.
Yes, and so that's important.
Yes, changing that. Fabulous, I just love that. So the first thing to do then, if we're worried about anything, is to get a pen and paper and write it down.
Yeah.
And so then it's actually there. It's a bit wonderful. Well, Helen, loads and loads of unbelievable information there. So I know that anybody wants to contact you and, you know, to ask you a question, maybe about something, that I know you'd be willing to help them in whichever way they can.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, completely.
Lovely. So what I'm going to do is ask you the question. I ask a different question to each member on every broadcast. So your question was, what was the last thing that you really felt excited about?
Well, I was going to Disneyland in a few weeks. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be going there now. I was taking my niece and nephew, which is probably the bit that excites me the most. Just seeing their faces for the first time. We were going to Paris and just giving them that experience. My niece is 6, my nephew's 10, so they're just the right age. So obviously we can't go now, but we will be going, and that still excites me. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, 6 and 10, oh my God, they are going to be so excited. I can see their faces. Well, he loves Star Wars, and she loves Disney princesses, so. Oh my goodness me. And you're very brave, taking two children away off elsewhere. I commend you on that one. Well, not alone. Their mother was coming with me. Oh, well, then, in that case, then, you can pass on if they are too much. But at that age, and Disneyland, yes, I've never been, I have to say. And my son, my oldest son, does live in Paris. So maybe I should think about taking my grandchildren as well. So thank you for that idea. Wonderful. So everyone, here we are at an end of the latest It's All About You Facebook Live broadcast. And if you fancy coming along here with me, sitting here with me, it's only 15 minutes and it's a really lovely, pleasant atmosphere. Would you agree, Helen? Oh, completely, yes. Yeah. And it's lovely because, you know, we really can get to know you. And I have found so much joy out of getting to know all 67 so far now members. So we're going to say goodbye. Let me have a quick look. There are some Fiona's come on now. Get that switched off. Oh, good grief.
I shouldn't do that, and I do it every time. All right, so we're going to say goodbye in the now group, and thank you so much, Helen. Really, really interesting, and lots of good stuff there. Yeah. So goodbye, everyone in the now group, and I shall be here again tomorrow for another 100 Days Facebook Live broadcast. So goodbye from me, and
goodbye
from Helen. Bye-bye.